Namo Amida Bu, a collection of passages on the true meaning of birth in the Pure Land of Amida Buddha, Part 3. Passages which show the enlightened qualities of those born in the Pure Land of Amida, and which can't be found in the here and now samsaric bodies and minds of unenlightened followers. I have always wondered how anyone can say that the Pure Land is here and now, or in the mind, if he cannot actually manifest here and now the qualities of the Pure Land. Indeed, how can one be in the Pure Land but continue to be impure in one's mind and still unenlightened? There is clear evidence that such views do not belong to the Dharma gate of the Pure Land or to the simple faith-orientated teaching of Jodo Shinshu. In the larger sutra it is said, quote, "They are of noble and majestic countenance, unequalled in all the worlds, and their appearance is superb, unmatched by any being, heavenly or human. They are all endowed with bodies of naturalness, emptiness, and infinity." End quote. So, are those deluded scholars who claim that the Pure Land is here and now, endowed with bodies of naturalness, in emptiness, and infinity? Shinran himself made reference to the same passage from the larger sutra in his work Passages on the Pure Land Way, Realization. Quote, "Their countenances are dignified and wonderful, surpassing things of this world. Their features, subtle and delicate, are not those of human beings or devas. All receive the bodies of naturalness or emptiness, the body of boundlessness." End quote. Do they have the color of pure gold, as promised to those born in the Pure Land in the third vow? Quote, "If, when I attain Buddhahood, humans and devas in my land should not all be the color of pure gold, may I not attain perfect enlightenment." End quote. The third vow. Do they have the same appearance as promised in the fourth vow? Quote, "If, when I attain Buddhahood, humans and devas in my land should not all be of one appearance, and should there be any difference in beauty, may I not attain perfect enlightenment." End quote. The fourth vow. Unenlightened beings in samsara have various forms and shapes, color and beauty. They differ greatly from one another, and this is due to the different types of karma they inherit from past lives. But once they are born in the Pure Land and become Buddhas, they are liberated from the shackles of karma and go beyond form, color, and any differences. This is what is meant by all be of one appearance. To be of the color of pure gold also means to have transcendent bodies of the qualities of enlightenment. So again, are those deluded scholars in this situation? More than this, in the 21st vow it is promised that beings in the Pure Land are endowed with the 32 physical characteristics of a great man. Shakyamuni too said the same in the larger sutra about those born in the Pure Land of Amida. Quote, "Ananda, the sentient beings born there are all fully possessed of the 32 physical characteristics of a great man, as well as perfect wisdom, with which they penetrate deeply into the nature of all dharmas and reach their subtle essence. Their supernatural powers know no obstruction, and their physical senses are sharp and clear." End quote. Clearly, if we check their samsaric bodies, no one claiming that the Pure Land is here and now have the 32 physical characteristics of a great man. But perhaps they have perfect wisdom, with which they penetrate deeply into the nature of all dharmas and reach their subtle essence, or some kind of supernatural powers, which they keep secret from us ordinary guys with a simple faith. Maybe they all have unlimited lifespans, 15th vow, remember all their previous lives, and know the events which occurred during the previous 100,000 kotis of nayutas of kalpas, the 5th vow, or they possess the divine eye of seeing even 100,000 kotis of nayutas of Buddha lands, 6th vow, and the faculty of knowing the thoughts of others, the 8th vow. They are probably endowed with the body of the Vajra god Narayana, 26th vow, or are able to go anywhere in one instant, even beyond 100,000 kotis of nayutas of Buddha lands, 9th vow, have the divine ear of hearing the teachings of at least 100,000 kotis of nayutas of Buddhas, and remember all of them, 7th vow, worship directly all Buddhas in all the 10 directions, 24th vow, and make offerings to them, 23rd vow, hear spontaneously whatever teachings they may wish, the 46th vow, etc. Perhaps they never give rise to thoughts of self-attachment, 10th vow, and they are free of mental hindrances, pure in mind and without indolence. Perhaps, as Shakyamuni said, their samsaric bodies and evil passions have been extinguished together with their remaining karmic tendencies. Maybe their wisdom is like the ocean, and their samadhi like the king of mountains. The enlightened qualities of those born in the Pure Land are described in length in the larger sutra, so I invite anyone having the illusion that he or she is here and now in the Pure Land to carefully read those passages and reflect on them. Next, I'll show you more quotes from various Jodo Shinshu masters who themselves explained the Pure Land to be the realm where enlightenment is attained. Quote, "That Buddha land is filled with innumerable means that lead us to take refuge, and there are neither evil realms nor evil teachers. One who's born there attains enlightenment without fail. Therefore I pay homage to Amida Buddha, the most honored one." End quote. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, 12 Praises of Amida Buddha. Quote, "The stature of the heavenly beings is as high as the top of Gold Mountain. Many beautiful scenes welcome their approach. Those who are born into this country can see with their heavenly eyes across the universe without restrictions. The saints bow to them and welcome. The beings in this country have miraculous powers and knowledge of their destiny. Therefore, they depend upon Buddha for life and they worship him." End quote. Bodhisattva Nagarjuna, as quoted by Master Genshin in his Ojo Yoshu. Quote, "The land is filled with numerous kinds of fragrance. Its pure sound deeply enlightens beings far and wide. Subtle and wondrous, it is heard throughout the 10 quarters. Amida, the perfectly enlightened, who is its Dharma king, fully sustains it. The beings of this Tathagata's pure lotus are born transformed from the lotus of perfect enlightenment, enjoying the taste of the Buddha Dharma. They partake of meditation and samadhi as their food. Forever free from physical and mental afflictions, they constantly enjoy pleasure without interruption. In the world of good of the Mahayana, all beings are equal, and not even the words of disparagement exist. Now is anyone born there as a woman or disabled or having the seeds of 2 vehicles, all that sentient beings desire are perfectly fulfilled in that land. For this reason, I aspire to be born in the Buddha land of Amida." End quote. Bodhisattva Vasubandha, Treatise on the Pure Land, Jodaron. Quote, "We should know that the reward of the Pure Land is free from the defects of the 2 kinds of disparagement. One is the beings and the other is their names. The 3 kinds of beings who do not exist there are those of the 2 vehicles, woman, and the disabled. Since these 3 kinds of people do not exist there, it is said to be free of disparagement. There are also 3 kinds of disparaging terms. Since the 3 kinds of beings do not exist, likewise even those disparaging terms do not exist. Furthermore, 3 kinds of terms, such as those of the 2 vehicles, woman, and the disabled, are unknown. This is why the land is said to be free of disparaging words. Equal means being equal in appearance." End quote. Bodhisattva Vasubandhu, Treatise on the Pure Land, Jodaron. Quote, "The 5th gate in the phase of going out is to observe with great compassion all suffering beings, manifest accommodated and transformed bodies, and enter the garden of birth and death and the forest of evil passions, where bodhisattvas play about, exercising supernatural powers. They thus dwell in the stage of teaching others through merit transference by Amida's primal vow." End quote. Bodhisattva Vasubandhu, as quoted by Shinran Shonin in his Kaigyo Shinsho, Chapter 4. Quote, "Upon attaining birth in the Pure Land, people feel neither enmity nor forbearance." End quote. Master Tuan Luan, Ojo Ronshu. Quote, "Not even the names of the 3 realms of suffering are heard there, but only nirvanic sounds of bliss. For this reason, that land is called peace and bliss." End quote. Master Tuan Luan, Ojo Ronshu. Quote, "The Pure Land is the realm which is shared by its pure inhabitants." Master Tuan Luan, Ojoronshu. When ordinary human beings, full of evil passions, attain birth in the Pure Land, the karmic bonds of the three worlds will no longer affect them. Even without severing evil passions, they will attain the state of nirvana. Master Tuan Wan, as quoted by Shinran in his Kaigyo Shinshan, Chapter 4. Quote, question, to which of the three worlds does the land of peace and bliss belong? Answer, the Pure Land is supreme and excellent, its essential quality exceeding the worldly realms. The three worlds of the dark house of samsara, inhabited by ordinary people. Though there are different degrees of pleasure and pain, and different lengths of lifespan of the inhabitants, the universal characteristic is that there are long ferries of defilement everywhere. Fortune and misfortune alternate, continuing in endless cycles, experiencing suffering in various modes of life. Beings are long misled by four perverse views. Whether in causal acts or in resultant states, falsehood ensues. How detestable! For this reason, the Pure Land does not belong to the three worlds. End quote. Master Tao Shao, Anleishi, Anrakushu. Quote, the reward of the Pure Land is free of desires, so it does not belong to the world of desire. End quote. Master Tao Shao, quoting Great Wisdom Discourse in his Anleishi, Anrakushu. Quote, it is comforting and refreshing, and there are no seasonal changes. End quote. Master Tao Shao, quoting hymns on the largest sutra, hymn in praise of Amida Buddha in his Anleishi, Anrakushu. Quote, it is stated in the Pure Salvation Bodhisattva Sutra, if a man is mindful of Amida Buddha for 10 years or 5 years or for many years, he will be born in the land of infinite life. Namely, he will attain the Dharma body in the Pure Land, which is as inexhaustible and inconceivable as the sand grains of the Ganges River. In this defiled world, one's lifespan is short. The karmic reward in this life soon ends. If you're born in Amida's pure life land, your lifespan will be long and inconceivable. Each one of you should weigh this great benefit and should aspire to go there. End quote. Master Tao Shao, Anleishi, Anrakushu. Quote, we urge people to turn to the West for refuge. Once born there, the three learnings spontaneously advance, and 10,000 practices are completely accomplished. Hence the largest sutra states, adapted. Quote, in Amida's Pure Land, there is not even a place as small as a hair's breadth where evil is committed. End quote. Master Tao Shao, Anleishi, Anrakushu. Quote, after having reached the Pure Land, you will acquire the 6 supernatural powers with which you enter samsara and guide sentient beings in all future ages. End quote. Master Shan Tao, Ojirazen. Quote, I wish to abandon the body enclosed in the womb and attain birth in the land of peace and bliss, where I will quickly behold Amida Buddha's body of boundless merits and virtues, and see many Tathagatas and holy sages as well. Having acquired the 6 supernatural powers, I will continue to save suffering sentient beings until all their worlds throughout the universe are exhausted. Such will be my vow. After having thus made a vow, I take refuge in Amida Buddha with sincerity of heart. End quote. Master Shan Tao, Ojirazen. Quote, of all the teachings that enable one to accomplish Buddhahood in this defiled world of suffering are called the Holy Gate. To realize enlightenment through contemplating the true nature of all existence, to pursue purification of the 6 sensory organs through meditating exclusively on the Lotus Sutra, to aspire to the realization of Buddhahood in one's very existent state through the observance of the 3 mystic practices, to pursue the 4 paths to achieve nirvana, to aspire to attainment of the 3 transcendent faculties and the 6 transcendent faculties. These are called the difficult path. In contrast, the teaching of the Pure Land Gate begins with the attainment of birth in the Pure Land in the first place, followed by the realization of enlightenment and Buddhahood there. This is called the easy path. End quote. Honen Shonen, Weigo Toraku.